Welcome to the tutorial on how to create a balance sheet. This is a really simple balance sheet for a service company. Later we'll learn more about classified balance sheets, but we're keeping it nice and easy. For those of you who have already been with us, we've created an income statement and a statement of owner's equity, and we are continuing with the same company information. Those of you who are new to us, you may want to revisit the other two tutorials because we need information from each of those statements in order to get the information we need for the balance sheet. All right, balance sheet. That is going to contain our assets, any contra assets, and liabilities. And then from the statement of owner's equity, if you recall, we also need the information from the statement of owner's equity. So we're going to grab that information here in a little bit. All right, back to our blank slate. The very first thing we need to start with is our heading. So Sample Company Inc. is who we have been working with here. The next line is the name of the statement, is the balance sheet. And the third line is for the date or the period of time. The balance sheet is different than the income statement and the statement of owner's equity. You are creating this for a specific date, not a period of time like the other two. We are just going to write December 31st, 2022. We would not say for the month of or for the year of. We wouldn't say any of that. All right, the balance sheet is making sure that our assets equals our liabilities plus owner's equity. I like to separate my assets, so I'll actually make this line and I will center that. Then I'm going to list out all of my assets. We usually will list our assets in order of liquidity. So how fast can we convert these assets to cash? All right, cash is obviously the most liquid. It's already cash. Here we could use the left and right columns to total things as well, like we did on the other two statements. Since I'm only working with two columns, I'm actually going to use the right column for a lot of these numbers, and I'll use the left column when we get to that contra asset account. As always, the first number in each column needs a dollar sign. My cash was $35,000. Usually our accounts receivable will be the most liquid after cash because we expect to convert that to cash pretty quick, maybe within 30 days, hopefully, maybe 60 days. So we have 3,600 here. It's kind of a toss-up between, some of the other assets, prepaid insurance, supplies, inventory. I usually think that prepaid insurance, that might be pretty liquid because if I need to get my money back, I probably can get that quicker than selling anything. So prepaid insurance was also $3,600. And then usually office supplies, we can usually offload those quicker. There really isn't a wrong answer to this. When you start to do the classified balance sheet, then you do want to make sure that you are classifying everything properly. So don't worry if you're a little bit unsure of which one would go next. And again, I'm just pulling information from this trial balance over here. All right, and then inventory. Well, it's usually going to be the items that we are selling to our customers. Inventory was $3,100. All right, just double checking my work here, making sure I'm not missing anything. And then next I have equipment. All right. I am going to use the left-hand column for this equipment here because I am going to follow it with that contra asset account. So if you recall, a contra asset account is always going to offset the asset account on the balance sheet. I have my equipment, and as you noticed, I put a dollar sign because it's the first number in the column. Accumulated depreciation is my contra asset. I'm going to write less accumulated depreciation, and then I am going to put equipment next to it. In most businesses, we might have several things that are depreciating, so we do want to make sure that we are labeling it. If we have a vehicle or a truck or a building, we'd want to make sure we're labeling it. All right, the accumulated depreciation was $5,000. And then what we'll usually do is directly to the right. In fact, I'm going to put an underline underneath that 5,000. Usually to the right of that, or maybe even one below, we will take that total between the two. So it's 29,000 less the 5,000, which is going to give us 24,000. And we'll put it to the right. Like I said, some people will put it on the next line. That's okay too. All right, I've gotten all of my assets, so I'm going to put an underline underneath that very last one of the 24,000. Now this next line is going to be called total assets. And here I'm going to total up all of those assets. I'm going to let Excel do the work for me, but if you have a calculator, feel free to go ahead and add those up. Excel is telling me that it is $72,000. Now, this is a little bit different than the other financial statements. We only did an underline and a dollar sign on the final number, but on the balance sheet, we actually have two final numbers. We have the assets and we have the total liabilities and owner's equity. So we are going to put a dollar sign and a double underline underneath those assets. Now we're going to move on to the liabilities and owner's equity section. So I like to title that, as I did before, liabilities and owner's equity. I do like to center it just to make it nice and easy to read so my reader knows that I'm separating my section. And then I'm going to start with my liabilities. All right, let's look over here at our liabilities. Well, we can see we have a note payable, we have an account payable, we have an interest payable, and we have unearned revenue. If you recall, when we first did the video on the income statement, we talked about how unearned revenue is not a revenue, it is a liability. We haven't earned the money yet, and we still owe the customer a service. So unearned, anytime you see that word unearned, it is a liability. When we're listing our liabilities, usually we're going to list them in the order that they come due. Okay? So generally speaking, an account payable, that's due soon. An unearned revenue is due soon. And then an interest payable, and usually a note payable might be due a little bit later. So that's how we kind of like to look at it. Again, there's no super wrong answer here. When we get to a classified balance sheet, we will break it up into current liabilities and long-term liabilities. But for now, we're just going to kind of take a best guesstimate here. So I think let's start with accounts payable. We could do the same thing we did before and list everything in the right-hand column. I'm actually going to list the liabilities in the left column just because I have several. I want to make it nice and easy to read. Some people stress out about the left and right columns on financial statements. Again, it's not really a really wrong answer, but we want to make it easy to read. We want to make our investors be able to easily identify our assets, easily identify whatever makes the most sense for them, whatever is meaningful for them. Okay, so don't stress out too much. Make it readable. That's what matters most. Okay, so I'm using the left column. Dollar sign and the first number in each column. My accounts payable was $11,000. Okay, then I'm going to go with unearned revenue next because that one I probably owe somebody a service pretty soon. So I'm going to do that one next. Unearned revenue is $5,000. Okay, then let's go with interest payable. And interest payable and note payable, they're probably due at the same time. Usually we're going to pay for our interest on the same date of maturity for our note. That was $2,000. And then we have a note payable. And that was $36,000. Okay, so there you have it. I'm going to back that up a little bit. So let's go ahead and total those. Excel is telling me it's $54,000. I'm going to go ahead and put that into the right column. I am going to put an underline under that 36,000. Again, that just signals that's the last number that I'm totaling. And I'm going to call this line total liabilities. All right. Sometimes I might skip a line here. This next section is going to be called owner's equity. This is for a service company. If it's a corporation or anything, then this section is going to look different. So just know if you're working with a corporation, it's not called owner's equity, it's called stockholders' equity. And this is going to be my ending capital. So sample company capital. And this is going to be December 31st, 2022. This number is going to come from my statement of owner's equity. One of the biggest errors I see students do is they look over here, they know capital goes on the balance sheet, but they use this number from the trial balance. But if you remember, that is our beginning capital number. We've already used that. We need to know the ending capital, and that comes from the statement of owner's equity. Here we see that the ending capital was $18,000. That's the number I need. So I'll go put that over here, 18,000. All right, now the very next line is going to be called total liabilities and owner's equity. Now, we want this to match or balance the total assets. I'm going to put an underline under that 18,000 because I'm now working with 54,000 and 18,000. Together, if I did it right, they should balance and equal the 72,000 of the assets, and they do. So we did well here. $sign and a double underline is what I need for the final number of the total liabilities and owner's equity. If we did it correct, then it balances. If you find yourself in a situation where your total liabilities and owner's equity doesn't balance with the total assets, you may have used the wrong capital number. Of course, you could have put a number of different things in here, but oftentimes I will see that a student used the wrong capital number and they used the beginning capital. Okay, I hope that helps. That's how you create a balance sheet. We will revisit a classified balance sheet and a multiple step income statement in future videos. Have a great day.